picks, but first, let's get started right away. Five-time champion, three-time MVP Magic Johnson shared his thoughts about the series. Take a look at what he tweeted. He said, if LeBron keeps playing the way he's playing, the Cavs win the title. This will be the single greatest performance we've seen in the finals. LeBron averaging 41 points per game, scoring 123 of the Cavs' points over the last 3 games. So, Stephen, I'll start with you first. Do you agree with Magic?
Well, I definitely agree with him, but the first thing I want to do is get on Magic Johnson. I appreciate you tweeting it all, but damn it, we miss you. Get your behind on First Take, especially in a city like this, okay? We miss you, man. Where you at, Magic? Making another billion-dollar business deal? Can't blame you for that. But come on now, pay a visit. With that being said, he's absolutely right. I think that when you look at LeBron James and the way that he has been playing, and you look at the magnitude of his performance, there's just no question that when you think about elite guys that have performed in NBA Finals history, what he has been doing without Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, particularly against the best team in basketball supposedly this season, is absolutely astonishing, and there's just no way around it. You know, momentarily once Kyrie Irving went down, I'm sitting there thinking Cleveland has no shot. I feel bad for LeBron. I'm depressed for him because, to be quite honest with you, as much of a fan as I am of Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, I do not want a 4th loss in an NBA Finals on the resume of LeBron James. I think he's too great. I think he's too great of an ambassador for the game of basketball. I think he's too special of a talent, a role model, and beyond. I don't want to see him lose these finals. And so when you lose 2 of your primary weapons, and you're thinking it's over, and then to watch this brother perform the way that he has performed, I can't say enough. And to me, what Magic Johnson said about him is just further validation, because when it comes to the game of basketball, who are any of us to be sacrilegious enough to disagree with the great Irvin Magic Johnson? It is rare that I have done it. I'm entitled to do it, because part of the reason I know basketball the way that I do is because of what he taught me. But in the end, it's still in all its magic, and his words resonate profoundly.
You know how much I love Magic Johnson, and he is on my Mount Rushmore, and we're about to discuss Mount Rushmore here in just a minute.
Yeah.
But I'm about to be a little sacrilegious here, because I'm not ready to go this far at this point. Obviously, your Cleveland Cavaliers here are halfway home, but only halfway home. And I'm saying to Magic, I get where he's headed, and I know where you're headed. If LeBron James is the deciding factor on closing this deal in 2 more finals games, obviously it will be hailed as the greatest achievement of LeBron's career. But I got to tell you, I'm just looking at the first 3 games. Pump the brakes. Hold your horses. I need to see more from LeBron James. Love what I saw from him down the stretch of Game 3. And I sat right here in this chair 24 hours ago, and I paid tribute to LeBron James because he made 4 straight clutch free throws. No doubters. All 4 of them. Swishes. I'm in awe, man. That was good, because LeBron has struggled, as we know, historically in late-game free throw shooting situations. But now this question, maybe a little prematurely, is forcing me to look back at games 1 and 2. And I'm going to have to be objective here, because at the end of game 1, regulation, LeBron James, I thought, made the wrong choice. We know, we've seen him do it before. He pulled up, stepped back, took a fall-away jump shot, and missed it. And then down the stretch of game 2, at the end of regulation, he missed a shot at the buzzer, and then 3 straight times in overtime, I thought he came up small in the clutch, and he was saved by Delly. Delly took him off the hook in game 2. So I have to keep that in perspective if I'm talking about the greatest finals ever. I have to keep this in perspective. I saw in USA Today that the supporting cast, this Cleveland Cavaliers supporting cast, was referred to as a ragtag collection of cast-offs. I'm here to suggest to you today that LeBron's performance is being slightly overrated because the supporting cast is being way underrated. And I think you would agree with me that the Kevin Love injury was somewhat a blessing in disguise because it allowed the emergence of Tristan Thompson. I'm here to tell you, if Kevin Love were in the starting lineup, I'm not sure this would be happening right now. Go ahead.
First of all, you're cruel. and I'm going to tell you why you're cruel. Because you know I'm sick. You know I'm struggling, congestion. I got static all in my ears, which is irritating me even more with my headache. And what do? You
I think it's your sickness is static. I don't hear anything.
You don't even wait 10 minutes into the show to get on my last nerve. It's just cruel, Skip. It's just cruel, okay?
Yeah.
Here's
just
the deal.
What I do.
Here's the deal. It is what you do, okay? All right? I mean, damn. I mean, the Excedrin hasn't even kicked in yet. You know I'm not well, and you're still irritating me already. You didn't even wait a half hour. Here's the deal. We talk about game one. We know that LeBron James made the wrong decision by not going to the rack. All right? We get that.
Yep.
He comes back in game two, does exactly what we chided him for not doing in game one. You still had a problem with that. He got
he
fouled.
Didn't make any of those shots.
He got fouled. Well, he got hacked too. He got fouled on 3 occasions where there was no call. But meanwhile, Skip, the brother is averaging 41, 12, and 8. And I'm just saying, and listen, it's not. You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct when you talk in terms of efficiency if we're just looking at numbers. But knowing I'm going to sit there. You call me Stephen Naismith. But here's the deal, Skip Bayless. You were covering basketball when I was in elementary school. You watched more basketball than me.
That is a fact.
You know for a fact that sometimes it's not about percentages. It's about how you control and dictate a basketball game. And it is undeniable that an offensive juggernaut like the Golden State Warriors have essentially been neutralized in the first 3 games because LeBron James has dictated pace. He's controlling the game on so many levels that Magic Johnson's operative word was if. If LeBron
I get it.
Continue, he didn't sit there and say it was finished product.
He did not.
He said if.
Okay.
And you ignored the word if.
Okay, I'm not ignoring it, but here's an if, and, or but on Kyrie Irving. The loss of Kyrie also came with a silver lining, to your point, because it forced LeBron James to be the primary ball handler. What do I always say about LeBron? Best point guard in the NBA. And he's able to control the ball and become the primary scorer. And I love him against this team as the primary scorer because this team, as of yet, has had no answers for LeBron James. Now, obviously, he has the second most misses through the first 3 games of any finals ever. But I have no problem with that because he is killing this team by walking the ball up the floor and walking it into the paint and walking the shot clock down to 5 and then sometimes either scoring or getting to the free throw line. That's how he's winning right now. And the other thing that Kyrie Irving's injury did, silver lining for Cleveland, it took all the pressure off LeBron James. He's playing with 0 pressure for the first time in his career. 0 expectations. And it allowed Golden State to sit back and take its foot off the gas in games 2 and 3. And I'm not sure Golden State can get its foot back on the gas.
Yeah, but there's a couple of things that you're missing. Let's go to Love first and then Kyrie. Love, you're underestimating his impact. Even in a bad year, Love still averaged 16 and 10. In a bad year for him compared to the numbers that he puts up, Kevin Love is a sniper from long range.
Okay.
His ability to be out on the floor, spread the floor. You also have to remember there was 16 to 17 games this year. He didn't even play in the fourth quarter. So Tristan Thompson was going to be in there anyway. The point is you're underestimating the importance of having that extra body to keep guys fresh.
Okay.
That's point number 1. Point number 2, when you talk about Kyrie Irving, remember they lost that game in overtime. They could have easily won that game in regulation. With Kyrie Irving, maybe at about 65%.
And he scored 23 points, and he was
23,
great. 4
7
steals,
and 6.
had
I'm
the 2
telling
blocks
you right now. I'm telling you right now, and I've said this before.
I get it.
You talk about pressure all you want to. Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, with the personnel they already had in place, I would have picked Cleveland to win this series in 5.
In 5?
In 5, they'd have took Golden State
So you
out.
would rather Kevin Love be playing 70% of the time?
No, Kevin Love would not have been playing 70%.
Yes, he would have.
No, he would not have.
If he was healthy,
no, he would not have.
Skip,
he wasn't playing 70% of the time when he was healthy.
He would sit some fourth quarters.
That's right, Skip. And that's what I'm saying to you.
Okay,
again,
3/4 of a game is 75%.
Skip. Arguing by not letting me make my point. You're not letting me make my point. I'm saying to you that when you are able to have bodies and throw versatility at somebody, You can dictate pace in one-dimensional ways like LeBron is doing, or you could sit there and manipulate the action by throwing a bevy of looks at somebody and setting the pace. Now, you might give up a few extra points, but that's because you're flowing the way that you want to flow, and you can turn on the afterburners at your discretion. Imagine if you didn't have to do it for 4 quarters. Imagine just for 12 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, you're able to take the lineup that you have right now, fresh, because Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving was already in the lineup, and throw the kitchen sink at Golden State at a moment's notice to derail them. All of a sudden, you can make that difficult as well. So there are various ways to skin a cat. All I'm saying to you is that as great as the Cleveland Cavaliers have performed in terms of expectation, do not underestimate how much better off they would be with Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving available to them. Because then, I believe, as much as I like Golden State, I believe Cleveland would have blown them out of the building.
Well, they blew them out the other end. They're up 20 late in the third quarter.
No, I'm just saying to you, but what you saw by the 20 up in the third quarter, they would have been doing that throughout the series.
Okay, we have 2 more big wins to go for LeBron James and company. The target for the greatest finals I ever saw one man play was the 1998 finals, the last of Michael Jordan's 6 rings. Remember Game 6? You were there in Utah. Okay, Utah had home court advantage, and the series was 2-3-2. So the last 2 games were at Utah. In Game 6, Scottie Pippen hurt his back early in the game on a dunk, was incredibly limited, ended up scoring 7 points and 8 points in the game. Michael Jordan went for 45 in Game 6, and you know how it ended. Holding the pose on Brian Russell, making that shot that won the championship, because I'm not sure Scottie could have gone in a Game 7 at Utah. That was the greatest individual performance I've ever seen against 2 Hall of Famers in Karl Malone and John Stockton. So I'm putting that as LeBron's target for the next 2 games to close the deal. Then I'd sit back and try to evaluate those 2 finals.
Yeah, but you know, that's real. See, you put me in a bad spot because I love the mailman. We love the mailman. He's a Hall of Famer. We know that. But if Karl Malone wasn't executing off of a pick and roll, or, you know, pick and pop or pick and roll with John Stockton, or he wasn't scoring on a fast break, Karl Malone didn't resemble a Hall of Fame player.
You're saying he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame?
I didn't say that. I said he did not resemble a Hall of Fame player outside of those situations. Karl Malone shot jump shots from the elbow, or Karl Malone scored off a pick and roll, or Karl Malone scored off of fast breaks. But with his back to the basket, that was foreign territory because that wasn't Karl Malone's game. Michael Jordan came, and what did he do? Karl Malone had that ball on the block, and Michael Jordan acted like he was going one way and came back and stole the ball and stripped it from him.
And took it the length of the floor and shot it.
Did he?
And it was over.
What I'm saying to you, this wasn't Jordan against Kareem in his prime with Showtime. This wasn't Jordan against McHale and Bird. This was Jordan against basically a 2-man team in the Utah Jazz in terms of offensive production. I want to check in those guys could play, but I'm just saying it was really about Stockton and Malone. So when you look at it from that perspective, I look at Golden State considerably softer, not as hardcore as Karl Malone, no question, but we're talking about snipers here. Yeah. We're talking about snipers here.
They haven't been the last 2 games.
They haven't.
The splashes have been the Crash
Brothers,
let me tell
you, no. Okay. Listen. Klay Thompson showed up for the first 3 quarters, and Steph Curry showed up in the 4th. Keep that in mind.
I'm not sure he scored 16 total points.
I'm just saying that he made some shots.
On here. You mentioned that LeBron is averaging 41, 12, and 8. Magic Johnson talked about that. He said the Warriors can't allow LeBron to